Christine has written one before. I don't know if anyone else has written one, but again, like I said, when I first started applying for jobs out of college, I did not write cover letters. But as I got older and saw the benefits of them, I have started using them. And people have mentioned that when I was in an interview, the things that I put on my cover letter. So you have one, but you would like to learn how to make one, and you don't have one. And then Harold said, I have two, but you need better understanding. I hope you can get that too. I've never written one. I think that even if it's optional, it's a probably good idea to write one to stand out. And that's one of the points that I wanted to bring up as well. If it says optional, opt in to do it because some people won't. And then again, it does give you an opportunity to get your foot in the door that may not have been there otherwise. So today we're going to learn three things. First, we're going to learn how to prepare for writing a cover letter. We're also going to learn how to structure a cover letter. And then we're going to talk about best practices with making a cover letter and how to steer clear of some errors and mistakes that people commonly make. So my goal for today is that you can prepare, structure, and use best practices when crafting a cover letter. So, what is a cover letter? If you had to tell me in a few words what a cover letter is, what would you say it is, and why should you bother with one? Well, I kind of gave you the answer, but in your own words, tell me what you think a cover letter is when you were walking into this session today. Gonna wait a little bit in the chat. Thank you guys for being so responsive. It's a summary of skills that are used to stand out to employers. I love that. That's a really great, succinct way to put it. Definitely, you want to highlight your skills in a cover letter and you want to stand out. That's a really good explanation. It's a letter that gives an employee an idea of who you are and your skills. Very good because you have the job description and you know what they're looking for. And so it's a really good opportunity to sell yourself. I know you meant employer. So in my own words, I'm a little nervous because it's always fun presenting, but a cover letter complements your resume. So it doesn't need to restate your resume, but it complements your resume and it highlights skills and experiences that are relevant to that specific job. So again, it's something that's different from just your general resume that you would give to any employer, and it's tailored to that particular job and shows how you are the best fit. So we've talked about, why bother with a cover letter? And I feel like we've gotten a pretty good answer, especially from some of you in the chat, standing out to your employers and giving them a better idea of who you are and your skills. And that's exactly right. So there are many purposes to writing a cover letter. So the cover letter is first and foremost an initial opportunity to assess the job compatibility. So if you're writing a cover letter for a position that you're looking for and you're having trouble matching your skills that you have to the skills that they're seeking in the position, then maybe it's the first step to say maybe this job is not the best fit for me. So it's a great way for you to understand or like match up what you can do with what they're asking for you to do. A cover letter demonstrates that you are serious to employers. So a lot of people know the job search is massive and hundreds of applicants are out there. And so if you took the time to write a cover letter that's tailored to their specific needs, it's going to show them that you are serious about that job opportunity and you're not just looking for any job opportunity. And as one of you mentioned earlier, it sets you apart from the other applicants who decided that optional really meant optional. So again, three ways that we know that cover letters have meaning and they're not just something that you should gloss over. Does anybody else have anything to add for this? Like, okay, I also think a cover letter is a good way to do this, or perhaps a cover letter is a good way to show your potential employer that. Just want to take a moment if you can think of any more purposes. I tried to whittle it down to like the three big ones, but obviously, other things are going to come up as well. It's just a moment for you to consider if you can think of any more ways that cover letters are important. And again, you're welcome to talk in the chat or unmute if you'd like to speak. I taught during the pandemic, so I'm used to every time we do one of these, I'm getting used to being back in the feel of running an online like presentation. I don't see anything else, but again, these are three purposes: whether or not you're compatible with the job, demonstrating that you are serious to the employers, and it can set you apart from other applicants. So, what a cover letter is versus what it is not. So, there are a few things that cover letters are supposed to do and a few things that they're not supposed to do. And so, this is one thing that I think is really important when you're looking back at your cover letter before you submit it, that you consider the following. So, what a cover letter is a personal introduction. It takes you beyond just a name on a sheet of paper and gets them to know who you are. And so when you're in classes here at Wake Tech, we always encourage you to reach out to your professors. We always encourage you to schedule those office hours. We always encourage you to let them know that you're more than just a name. And so your cover letter kind of is the first step for you to do that for an employer. Cover letters also, as I said earlier, and I'm going to mention it several times because it is such a crucial part of writing a cover letter, it should be tailored to that specific job. It is not a copy and paste, cut and paste situation. You have to make sure that that cover letter is unique to the position you're applying for. When I was doing a job search a few years ago, I would take, even if you're working, like if I was trying to get another position in a different department in Wake Tech, I would still write a unique cover letter. So if you're going to one department versus another, if it's within the same company, you're still going to tailor it to that specific job because you don't know if the person on the hiring committee is in or multiple hiring committees and you want it to be unique. It's an opportunity to elaborate, go beyond your resume to give them a little bit of a taste of who you are and what's important to you and your values and skills. And one thing that I think is really important is that it is a way to show enthusiasm. So let's say you find the perfect position that meets your passion, your interest, your skill level, your education. You want to show and reiterate how excited you are about the job opportunity. And that's something that's not going to be on your resume, but your cover letter is a really good place for you to be enthusiastic about what you have to do. And it's a chance to mention referrals. So if you know Ashley Smith and she works at the company that you're trying to work for, you can say, Ashley recommended this opportunity to me, and I know how much she values this part of your company. And then that's a way for them to kind of see someone beyond just a reference on a page, and they know that you have some support already within the organization. The cover letter is always going to be professional in tone, and that really is important. And there's so many ways that you can craft a cover letter and meet with us or other programs that are out there to make sure that your cover letter is professional. What it is not is a summary of your resume. So it should not be a summary of your resume because they have your resume on hand. So it's more of a personal deep dive into how you uniquely fit that position, and a resume is more of a general thing that you list your skills and education, and that could go out to any employer. It's not one size fits all, so you can't just use the same cover letter for multiple organizations and job opportunities. It is not a place for you to tell your life story, to talk about your divorce, your separation, or anything like that. It's just a place for you to be professional and energetic about your work that you're trying to accomplish. It should not be lengthy. The general advice is to keep it at one page. If it's And I also have heard even shorter than that from some employees, like they want to be able to read it at a glance. We always like say the kids are the TikTok generation, but also there are bosses and employers who have a lot on their plates, not a lot of time. And so they are really going to be like looking at your cover letter and trying to get as much feedback as they can get from it as quickly as they can. So they should just be able to glance over it and see what you're about. It should not be informal. It should not be a list of demands that you want this amount of salary, this amount of flexible time, this amount of health insurance. It's not the place for it. And it is not an autobiography. So you shouldn't say, I was born on September 18th, 1987 in Richmond, Virginia. It's not anything like that. It's more just a personal introduction specific to the job, to the point, enthusiastic, and professional. So, what are some objectives of a cover letter? I want you to tell me what you think, what you can accomplish. I just want to sum up what we've talked about, make sure everybody's on the same page. Based on what we've done so far, if you had to tell me what an objective of a cover letter is, what would you say? Yes, Harold.
Hi.
Hi.
So what I've learned from and hearing from you guys, from you personally, is that the cover letter should address or make you stand out to the
Hmm.
employer for that position.
Very
But,
good.
but should pretty much make you stand out, letting them know that you are this person for that particular role.
Yes. You want to stand out and you want them to know, thank you for sharing. You want to stand out and you want let them know that you are very enthusiastic about that particular role. And that's what I also see in the chat. It's to show your enthusiasm and fit. Two really important things because people want someone who's on board and ready to go. And, there's a lot of transitions in many fields right now. So they want someone who is going to be there for the long haul. So your cover letter introduces yourself. It shows how you are the perfect puzzle piece that's missing. You also get to brag a little, humble brag. I haven't heard that term in a while, but you get to brag a little bit about what you've done at your previous roles and, toot your horn a little bit and let your passion shine through. So your resume and your qualifications are going to get you in the door, but your cover letter convinces them to leave the welcome mat out. So it really is what will make you stand out in the crowd. So thank you for saying that. Also, if you have any transitions that you want to explain briefly, you can offer any context to the application. You also show that you're a good writer, and many jobs are going to require you to be writing for different tasks and purposes. So you can show that you're a competent and professional writer, which will often be a task that you have to have in your job. And again, differentiate yourself from other candidates. And I keep saying that because it's really important. I've been on scholarship committees, I've sat on hiring committees, and we truly do look at these sorts of things to figure out, if this person is a good fit for the role, what they're passionate about. And one thing in the hiring process that I was allowed to sit on is how is this person going to fit in with other people in the position. So that was something that I really enjoyed because I can see that this person has either skills that I need to hone or they have skills that are complementary to mine and will work well together. So you want to always, pitch how good of a team player you are. You want to stand out as an individual because you're amazing, but you also want to let them know that you are a team player and you're able to adapt. Adaptability, which we actually did a student success conference about I think a year or two ago. Can't remember now. COVID blurs everything, but we do have archives of adaptability. And that was one topic that I know for sure kept coming up in my research. So if you have examples of showing you're adaptable, and again, those are some things that are going to come up in an interview, but you have to use this letter to get the interview. So it is something that you should mention. Invite the reader on your journey and imagine that you are the hero. So we talked about the purpose behind, why should we write a cover letter? So now we're going to look at how to write a cover letter. So again, I'm saying that you should have 3 or 4 paragraphs. 3 is ideal. And we're going to talk about what each step should have. So first, before you start writing, I said it before and I'll say it again, research and analyze. So The last time I wanted to work, one of my friends actually recommended apply to work at Wake Tech in the year of 2013. I know that was so long ago, but one of my friends was one of my coworkers at another job was in a position here, and she told me that it was a good job, it was a good fit, and I was worried. I was like, I know there's so many applicants and so many people who want to stand out, but she gave me the she helped me get on the website, helped me see like what tutors what they're looking for, and so I really spent some time doing some research and trying to figure out, okay, well, how does my degree, how does my previous job experience, how does that make me a good fit for the position? So it's important to research both the company and the role. So I found out a lot about Wake Tech and how they want to help every student and reach out, and students from every walk of life, students who are working full time, students who are caring for their families, students who are fresh out of high school. So I knew that it was important to meet every student where they are. And so that was something that also aligned with my beliefs in education. So I was like, okay, well, this job is a good fit for me because I can help all kinds of people. You tailor your cover letter to the job and the company culture. So I would also like emphasize how important it is to see each individual student and help them to achieve their personal best. Um, Identify key skills and qualifications that are required for the position. So make sure you thoroughly read the posting for the job and that you understand everything that it's asking for. And you can kind of, as you're reading it in your head, match what skills you have to what are particular interests of the position. And then, like I said, match your skills and experiences with the job requirements. So you might want to brainstorm, you might want to outline, do your research, highlight, underline, all of those things you can kind of have. So when you're starting your cover letter, you kind of have an idea of the company that you're working for. So I know I emphasized a lot about the job specifically, but it is important for you also to understand the company culture so that you are knowing kind of like what the vibe is. So like the only example that's coming to mind right now because I went there for lunch is Chick-fil-A, right? We know Chick-fil-A has a distinct company culture, service with a smile, always friendly, always professional, always like almost like anticipating your needs before you ask for them. So if you were going to apply for a position there, you would kind of know what the vibe is and what kind of energy you need to bring in your cover letter as well. So once you write it, it's important for you to include a heading with your contact information and specifically, and I watch The Bachelor, so my examples are from people from The Bachelor, but make sure you include specifically the person that is going to receive the letter. So that does involve some digging with the research that we spoke about earlier, but making sure that you know exactly who it's going to, their position. So it looks really good when you have done that extra step as well. So you have to mention the job and how you found out about it and list any key skills or achievements. So the cover letter is your foot in the door. The intro is something you got to go hard and strong with to immediately get their attention. So I'm writing to express my interest, and then you state the position at the company and where you found it. So that's a good in if you found out through the position about the position through a friend, or you found out from another source that can make them seem that you are really interested in the job. Then you go into your background and your track record where you can briefly list your skills and achievements. And then you end again with that enthusiasm to show how excited you are about the opportunity. So just wanted to pause to see if anybody had any questions about what the introduction should look like.
This is, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. I'm writing this is very similar to the advice I've been given for, um, I mean, it sounds very transferable to a personal statement for a graduate program.
Mm-hmm.
And, in that what you said, I tend to get this a little mixed up, but it's like, this is why I'm interested in your program. This is, I describe myself, but hopefully also describe myself in a way that they're immediately going to see that I could be a good fit. And then I tell them why I think their program would be a good fit, why I would be their program would be a good fit for me.
Yes.
So I tell them why I think these are my qualifications, and then I say, this is what I see in you. So
yes.
asking for feedback.
Yes.
But this intro I wrote, when I started my intro, I got some criticism. I said sort of like this: I'm, basically, please consider my candidacy. In other words, I am writing to tell you I'm a candidate. And I got the feedback like, you don't necessarily need that. Like, you could just start right into education. My intro was like, education is a journey. Let me tell you about some experience that I had in your area. It's just some stylized, like some pretty kind of attention getting stuff. I just want to add the feedback I'm asking for is, am I on the right track? I mean, I see that these things are pretty similar, and it's encouraging me to go get more information about the people that I'm writing to, and try to find out what they might be looking for, and figure out how I'm going to sell my previous experience, like you were saying about getting your job in Wake Tech.
Yeah, I think there's a balance, right? Like, you have to get to the point because you want them to you want it to be as concise as possible, but you also want to build a story. So I think there's somewhere in the middle between, getting straight to the point and also building a piece of yourself, because it has to stand out a little bit more from your application, and you want it to be individual. When I'm reading personal statements and cover letters and things like that, I am looking for a connection, and how you achieve that connection really could be different. So I do agree that you don't want to go on and on. And so formulaically, just to get an outline, I think this could be a good starting point, but also you want to tailor and tweak it. And so we do have individual appointments. So if you were interested in doing that, we could definitely look at your personal statement. But I try to also tell students, or not to get it is something you want to take seriously, and it is something that you want to make sure that you put your best foot forward. But I think the thing to remember mostly is that we're just trying to get a sense of who you are and what you want to do. And so as long as you accomplish that, I think that's the end goal. But I think I would love to work with you individually, but there are a lot of commonalities between writing a good cover letter and a personal statement. You probably have a little more room to elaborate on yourself in a personal statement, just because of it's a different focus, but some of the same general tips do apply. I agree. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. Okay. So that's just the introduction. I'm glad. Thank you for that statement. And then each paragraph should focus on one particular main idea for your body paragraphs. So the first one in this example is talking about your most recent role. And I know a lot of the times if somebody asks me, if I'm watching a TV show or something like that, what happened in episode 3, I'm I have no idea. But what happened in the very last episode, I could tell you word for word. So sometimes with your job experience, it's going to be really good for you to write down what you've done most recently, because that's what you have the most experience with. But I also encourage you to kind of just keep a record of when you in different positions, what you had to do and what you were responsible for. I always save the job listings of positions even when I get them, so that I can then craft, in the future, if I were to move on to another position, I would be able to eloquently speak about what it was that I did. So you talk about what you're responsible for and any skills that it made you develop specifically for that. And then you would kind of, as much as you can, align that with the requirements for the current position. So once you do a general thing, if you can think of a really specific example or achievement and describe the impact of that, but also how it helped you hone any skills, which then you tie it back to which help you in the position that you're in. So if I were looking to move on from, I'm also a teacher. So if I was trying to go from teaching to going into like a professional development role, I would say, well, I've done these many workshops or I've taught these different classes, and I've really honed an ability to craft lesson plans or integrate technology. For example, and I would mention a specific project that my students have done, which goes along with what you're trying to help other teachers in the district do. So it's really important that you go general, talk about what you've last done, but also provide a specific concrete example that you can then lean on to support. And hopefully, with this amazing cover letter that you have, when you get into the interview, then you can go into detail about that particular experience. Also, you want to go beyond and talk about the values of the company as well. So beyond your professional experiences, you have a strong commitment to any type of skills. Like I personally enjoy technology and integrating it into what I'm doing and learning. And so I would say that. And I would say maybe like how I helped other teachers learn a new platform and emphasizing how it took problem solving or teamwork or any other relevant skills. And then you end up again saying how it taught you what would then be directly beneficial to the role that you are experiencing. So the first one is more of a general, this is what I've done. Then you go into a specific example, and always towards the end, make sure you reemphasize how it could help you in the job that you are trying to pursue. And you want to be passionate, confident, and specific. So if you know this information, and sometimes it's hard to find this information on a website, but if you know this information, you could say, I am particularly excited about a particular thing at that company that excites you. So if you can find it on the job listing, if you can find it on the website, just something that you truly do feel passionate about, because you don't want to write something in your cover letter, get in an interview, and they say, oh, Ashley, I heard you were really interested in integrating technology in the classroom. Can you explain more about that? And you don't have any examples. So don't put anything that you can't back up when you land that interview from this awesome cover letter. So you're going to tell them something you're excited about and what you can bring to the team. And I think, again, adaptability and collaboration or teamwork are two things that you want to mention. So if you can find an example that shows you had to think quickly on your feet or change, just be able to go with the flow and adjust as needed. And then you can end with your confidence in your ability and how you are a perfect candidate. So make sure each paragraph clearly aligns with your skills and experiences and that they connect to the requirements of that particular position. And in your closing paragraph, you want to thank the reader and mention your availability, and you want to be warm and professional. So in closing, I'm eager to bring my expertise to your company and fostering those new solutions and contributing to the team's success. You look forward to the opportunity. So your cover letter, I saw this really good thing that stuck out to me. Your resume is your past, right? And your cover letter is your future. So you're looking forward and you're looking future thinking, and you're trying to connect to how your future at this company will be. So going ahead and like speaking it to existence a little bit. I look forward to the opportunity to talk about how my background, skills, and things I'm excited about align with the goals of your team. And then you, again, using the words team and company and network are really going to help like reiterate the fact that you understand the connectivity and that you want to be a part of what they already have going on there. Then you can thank them for considering your application, and you're looking forward to contributing, and that you are available as soon as possible to get in that door for that interview. And this is going to be a little bit different from a graduate statement, because might not go as hard with I'm looking forward to the interview, but you do want to thank them for the time. And again, it should be something that they can read and digest and not spend too much time with, but also are able to see, the value that you bring. So I'm going to go back just a little bit. So does anybody have any questions about the closing, about the body of the cover letter? So again, in your introduction, you will tell them who you are, tell them why you're interested in the position. Then you'll go into specific examples from your current position and make sure they tie back in and connect to the position that you're interested in. And then you close with being eager and excited and future forward and looking forward to the opportunity to speak to them in person. Does anybody have any problems with the structure or questions about the structure? Yes. No one? Okay.
All right, can we have these? I'll use this as a guide. Can we have these slides at the end?
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to attach them or put them in the chat when we end this conversation. And you're welcome. And again, I want to reiterate 3 paragraphs, 4 at the most, but you're not doing a whole lot. You're just getting to the point and making sure you're really enthusiastic about it. Thank you so much. So, cover letter, best practices, we've kind of gone over, but I want to reiterate, make sure we understand. So, personalize each cover letter, proofread. There's nothing worse than having the wrong title, the wrong manager. So, you should not be copying and pasting from previous cover letters. All of your cover letters should be unique to that particular position. Keep it simple, concise, to the point. Use professional language and tone. Proofread, 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 proofread. For spelling and grammar errors, don't just rely on Grammarly. If you are a Wake Tech student, come see us. We can help you with crafting it. But also just make sure you're proofreading. Can anybody else think of any cover letter best practices, things that you should keep in mind? Also want, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking out loud. I need to talk this through. This is right. This is on my agenda today. Cover letters, because I wrote my intro and I got a little stuck, so I have some notes. But best practices. So I hear what you said. Do not summarize your resume, because they have your resume. They already know what you have to say.
Right.
It can be a place to sort of apologize or to explain for any gaps. What I really want to do is to figure out how I'm going to fit in at that organization with other people. You said try to figure out how other people are going to feel about you. So I don't know. I mean, usually I've had like a form, cover letter that I tweak, but I guess I actually should be working on that all the time. I work on my resume all the time, but I should work on the cover letter too. So I'll have to start doing that. Main thing is just start doing it.
Yeah, I think if you have other coworkers, just to ask them, like, what do I contribute or what do I bring to our team, or what do you like about working with me, just so you can get some of the collaborative pieces. Like, it takes a long time, and it's been very rare for me, honestly, to work with a group of people that I feel like we all complement each other really well. And one of the things about that is time. But I think if you have a trusted coworker that you feel comfortable, like saying, I just want to know how I'm doing as a teammate, or what can I do? But you can consider, when you have to work with someone else, like, what makes them a good team member. And so if you want to sell yourself uniquely, but you also just want to make sure that they know that you are a team player. So it's like, I stand out, but I also fit in. It's like a weird balance that you try to manage, but definitely I think you should always be tweaking. I think it's a really good idea to have a base cover letter, but also as you find out about that job or as you move through different positions, you're going to tweak it for whatever is specific to that. But I do like having a general outline so you kind of know what you're doing. Common mistakes to avoid is repeating your resume, using a generic template. So it's good to have that template to help you figure out what goes in each paragraph, but not changing it and thinking you can send it out to multiple people. Not okay. Failing to address the letter to a specific person overusing I statements. So when I did this at my company, so you had to sell yourself, but literally what I was just saying is to make sure there's a balance between I'm selling myself, but also I'm a team player. Can anybody else think of any more mistakes that you should avoid, things that might not be good to do in a cover letter? There's some stuff I said earlier that is on the slide. I wonder if anybody has any no-nos that we want to make sure don't end up in the hands of potential employers. Telling your life story. Yes. So it all started when it started. And yeah, so you don't want to go into too much, which is always interesting too on a resume as well, because you only want to give your relevant job history. Like I've been working for a long time, so I wouldn't put my first job at a daycare in 2005 on my resume, but also you wouldn't want to tell your whole life story on your cover letter. Very good. Can anyone think of anything else?
So did you just say that you would put your like way
No.
back 2005? Don't put the
No.
2005 daycare on
No,
there.
no, yes, I was saying like just so you only put like the relevant things on your resume, only put the relevant things on your cover letter. So I was saying no, I would not put my first job when I was 16 on my cover letter. No.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm gonna look at two examples. So I might have to stop sharing my screen like this, but we'll see if I click on the two examples, what is it gonna let me do? So I think I might have to wait. Can you still see my screen? Yes, I think. Yeah, okay. So let me stop sharing. Okay. And then I'm going to go to those two letters, and they are generic, but I think they will help us with our example. So you should be able to see this. And I'm going to present. This is the first cover letter. Let me see. And if you can see it and you're good, somebody just let me know. I think you should be able to see it. Okay. So that's the second one. I want the first one. Okay. So you have your name at the top, you have the person's name and their human resources. To whom it may concern, I'm applying for this job I saw online. I need a job. Your company seems all right for that. I've done lots of stuff before that probably fits what you're looking for. You can check my resume for the details. I don't really see the point in writing a whole letter when everything you need is in the resume, but here we are. I've worked in similar jobs. I'm pretty sure I can do whatever you need me to do. Not really sure what else to say. I'm good at talking to people and doing computer stuff. I also need a good salary and benefits. So hopefully you can meet my expectations there. Let me know if I get the job or whatever. I'm available to start whenever, but we need to know soon because I'm looking at other options. 2, thanks. What is bad about this cover letter? You can let me know in the chat and I'll keep it up just for a little bit longer so we can answer. But what is bad about this cover letter? And I'll try to pull up the chat on another device so you can still look at it. It's very informal.
Sounds like a personal conversation.
It sounds like a personal conversation. I agree. There's lots of contractions and things like that that you avoid in formal writing. Can anybody else think of why this cover letter would not be a good one to send?
It's like she isn't really listening. I mean, she's not really open to talking about it. She's not really listening, is what that sounds like. She hasn't thought about what her message means to her audience.
Right, very good. So it's just, and it's general too, and it doesn't really sound specific, but also, yeah, it doesn't seem like she wants to do a cover letter. She just did it because it was required and she doesn't see the benefit of it. Very good. I agree. Anyone think of anything else? Okay, we'll move on to the cover letter that is a little bit better. And we're going to talk about why this one is good. Dear hiring manager, it still doesn't have the person's name. I'm writing to express my interest in the administrative assistant position listed on your company's careers page. With over 5 years of experience in administrative roles, I have developed a comprehensive skill set that I believe will be beneficial to your team. In my current position, I have honed my abilities in data management, scheduling, and providing exceptional support to senior staff, ensuring efficient and smooth office operations. My dedication to creating and maintaining a productive work environment has allowed me to significantly improve team communication and workflow. One of my key accomplishments includes the implementation of a new document management system, which resulted in a 30% improvement in retrieval times for critical information. This experience has equipped me with the knowledge to effectively manage and organize large volumes of data, an essential skill for the role at your company. Moreover, my proficiency in a variety of software applications, along with my ability to quickly adapt to new technologies, makes me a strong candidate for this position. I am particularly attracted to the opportunity at ABC Food Tours because your commitment to fostering employee growth and your reputation for valuing innovative office management techniques. I am enthusiastic about the possibility of bringing my unique talents to the team, and I am confident that my proactive approach to tasks and ability to think critically under pressure will allow me to contribute effectively to your team. I look forward to the opportunity to discuss how my background, skills, and enthusiasms can support the goals of ABC Food Tours. Thank you for considering my application. I am eager to provide further information, and I am available at your earliest convenience for an interview. So, what are some things that this letter did well? And I have the pulled up on my other device so I can see if you write a comment in the chat. But why is this letter a good letter? Not seeing any comments, but you guys are all typing really thoughtfully, I'm sure. Very clear, and the scope is appropriate. Yep. So we know exactly what position they're applying for. We know exactly what they've done at their other jobs that will showcase and highlight how this would be a good fit for them. It does what it does well. I agree. It's short. It's one page. Remember, we're not going over that one page. Honestly, a little wordy. Some things we probably could condense a little bit, but it does get to the point and it is enthusiastic about the future. It does outline how their past experiences align with the current job opportunities, and it does provide a specific example of something they did at their previous position and how it would fit into the role at the new company. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint and we're going to see if we caught everything, which I think we kind of did. You guys did a good job. Let's see if it'll let me resume. Yes, perfect. Okay, so we got most of these, but the first letter was a bad example because it was not personalized. We did not know what position they were applying for, and it looked like they could have sent that to anybody. It also missed specifics. So, what was the position they were looking for? How do their previous example or their previous experiences align with the current position? We all thought it was unprofessional in tone, lots of contractions, very informal language, no mentioning of like what they contributed to their company, and not it was a lot of demands like I need a good salary, I need insurance, and not a lot of what they could offer the company. So I think we got most of that. So if you had those things written down as you were looking at the other bad example, that was correct. The things that makes the second letter a good example are that It's customized and relevant. So right away, we know that it aligns with the job that they're looking for in that new position. They give clear examples of the things that they were able to achieve in their current position. It's professional in the tone and the structure, and they have enthusiasm about the role. So we know kind of the difference between what makes you stand. And obviously, the bad example was a really, really bad example. And it's not something that most professional people looking for a position would even send out. But we also now know what a good example is. So you can kind of juxtapose. So we don't want you anywhere near the bad example, but the good example is customized and relevant, clear examples of your achievement, professional in tone and structure, and really enthusiastic about the role. So before we close out, I feel like there were a couple people who asked specific questions, but now it's a great time. If you have any questions about the things that we've covered today, is there anything personalized? Like I know that you were writing a graduate statement, but if anybody has a position they're interested in and you want personalized advice about it, you could ask a question now. Is there anything that I said or covered that you want to circle back? Like, hey, I actually didn't understand what you meant by this, or can you provide an example of what you meant by that? So just a few moments if anybody has any particular questions. And I also want to let you know that the ILC is open. The online ILC where I work, we are open every day. We're going to be back running tomorrow. So if you had a job listing that you wanted us to look at and help you craft a cover letter with, we can absolutely do that. Yeah, I just wanted to give a few moments if anybody had some questions. Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to let you know I'm here. I would like to get together with you to work on a cover letter. Are you really open tomorrow on Saturday?
Yes. We are open. I work on Saturdays. So yes, we are open on Saturdays. So I will when the session is over, I will send the link in the chat so you can make an appointment, but we are open tomorrow.
Thank you.
Of course. Anyone else have a question? All right, I'm going to move on. So, recap the main points. I want to emphasize that you should personalize your approach. It should be tailored specifically to you and to the job that you're looking for. I also think you should highlight any achievements that have significant impact and relevance to the position you're applying for. Keep it concise and keep it engaging. And I also want to leave you with two things that I found that I really liked, which I'll put in the chat. One is a video from the Harvard Business Review to 8 minutes about how to write an effective cover letter. And I just really like the approach of the woman in the video and the clear cut examples that she gave. So I'm going to attach that or put that in the chat along with the presentation for the day and an article that you can read as you help prepare your cover letter. And like I said before, we are open and willing to help you here at the ILC. And this was a little bit under an hour, but I want to thank you guys for attending today's session. I really enjoyed putting it together, and I feel like I understand even more. Like I've always written cover letters, but as a result, I understand how effective they can be. So the next time you apply for a position and you see cover letter optional, it is not. It is not optional. You should do it so that you can stand out, because I know that you're all wonderful students, wonderful candidates for jobs. Because if you show up on a Friday of spring break at 5 p.m., and you are serious about bettering yourself and putting your best foot forward. So that already shows me that you're going to find the position that's right for you. If no one has any questions, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to make sure I attach everything in the chat so you have that for a reference. My name is Ashley Tabron. I will also put my contact information as well as the ILC so that you can make appointments. And I really enjoyed speaking with you guys today. I hope you guys have a good Friday. Well, Good Friday is not this Friday, but you know what I mean.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.